What's up? We got Arrow Season 2, Episode 13, Heir to the Demon. So this episode starts off with at a Starling City airport where we see a woman in black, where we see a woman crossing through, and we learn that her name is, and the guy calls her Miss Rackco. So so he tries to let her in, but when he says to her, but when they realize that she's bad, they put a gun in her, and she goes all badass on them and kills all the guy and walks right through. So yeah, so then we see, Laurel in the hospital, and and they think she like OD'd, but and she basically makes, and Diana lands at there, and she tries to make the Quentin that she saw Sara, and she thinks it's some hallucination, but he tries to play it off as, yeah, of course it was a hallucination. But then we see Sara, we see her, and she's training in the Arrow bunker. Roy's not even in this episode. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So then, yeah. So then we see, yeah, you know, her training in the Arrow bunker, and she just like, now that her family's safe, she's just gonna go on the road again. He's like, and Oliver's like, really, 24 hours? You're here, you see your family, and you're just gonna go? And she's like, the League is still hunting her and her family. So yeah. So then the lady appears in front of Sara, and guess what? They start smooching, and they start making out, and Oliver, and she reveals to Oliver that she is actually Nyssa al Ghul, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul. They call him Ra's al Ghul, but I'm gonna call him Ra's because I like that name better. They use two different interpretations, but I'm gonna call him Ra's. She is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, heir to the demon. Yeah, that's where the episode name comes from. And she's trying to get Sara to return back to the League since she made an oath to return back. But obviously, Sara's like, I'm not returning back to the League. So yeah, so Oliver tells her that he doesn't trust her, and she's like, then trust me. So yeah, so at Queen Consolidated, prior to the scene, we see, I do mention some stuff. We see we see Felicity, and she questions Walter about Tempest, and about how, and he says he'll talk to Moira about it, but yeah, but I guess he doesn't. So she confronts Moira about it, about how she's using the Tempest money to pay the doctor that delivered Thea. And then Felicity puts two and two together and reveals to her that she knows that Malcolm and her had an affair. Because she connects two and two, she puts two and two together. She puts how she mentioned at her testimony that that she and Merlin had an affair, and she was paying the doctor that delivered Thea, which means that Felicity reveals to her that Felicity knows that she's the daughter of the dark, that Thea is the daughter of the Dark Archer. Boom, Thea. But Moira turns all bitch and, what did I say, bitchy, and decide to, I say bitch now. I don't know why. I like doing it. I have no idea. I hope you guys are okay with this. Me saying the B word now. But yeah. Yeah. So she turns all bitch and decides and says that, hey, she puts a seed of doubt in Felicity's head, saying that Felicity, if you tell this information to Oliver, he won't only hate her, but he'll hate Moira too. But he won't only blame her, but he'll also blame Felicity. Yeah, Moira, bitch. And you realize why I can't believe they did that to me. I was I was complimenting Moira in my last review, and now I have to say all this bad stuff about her because I have to. Because she puts this fear down Felicity's head that Oliver's gonna. Obviously, she doesn't know that Oliver and Felicity are tight, but she puts the seed of down Felicity's head, saying about how Oliver going to blame her. So Felicity tells Oliver. She doesn't tell her. She does tell her about how she never knew her father, about her mom's her mom, but she never knew her father because her father left her. And she says that she knows a secret, but it has something to do with his mom. Yeah. So I'm going to mention it now. So actually, I'm going to mention it later. So Nyssa knows the only way to get. So they reveal that Nyssa was the one that poisoned Laurel. So the only way to get Theo out back into the league's good graces is Sara back into the league is to kidnap Dinah Lance, Sarah's mom. So Sara and the Canary and the Arrow decide to, but they lose track of the truck. So they decide to tell Quentin, but the assassin Signet capsules himself and dies. So she decides to say, hey, she knows where they're. As she's about to tell Laurel about Sara. As Quentin's about to tell Laurel about Sara, Sara calls and says, hey, don't tell the Arrow. I know where they're keeping Dinah. But Oliver already figured this out. It's super confusing. Oliver already figured this out. And already figured this out. And that's when Sara's mom discovers that Sarah's alive, and she's like, "Hey, get her out of here!" And she's screaming, "No!" So Sara poisons herself. Yeah, she intentionally poisons herself, but she gives her the antidote and releases her from the league as Laurel sees Sara alive. Yes, now Laurel knows. So, what does Laurel do? She basically confronts Sara about this, saying about how she knows the questions about everything that Sara has to say about why she called them, why she didn't tell them she was alive. And yeah, Laurel's kind of being a bitch in this scene, aka a bitch. Because she blames Sara for everything. Because she blames Sara for, she's like, the only reason, if you told them that she was alive, she would have been able to save her parents' marriage. So, yeah. And then Laurel's like, get out. And she was like, it's your fault, she's like, it's your fault, you got on that boat with her boyfriend, get out. So, Laurel screams, get out! And, Laurel screams, get out! And Sara says, Laurel! And then she said, I said, get out! And throws her drink at the door. Laurel, you're an awful person. So back with the Queens, Oliver confronts Moira and says about how Oliver doesn't know his mom at all, and she lies, and she only lies for herself. And Moira explains that she didn't tell Thea about Malcolm to protect Thea from Malcolm. And he's like, no, we are done. And that's when we see Slade talking with. That's when we see Slade. Sorry, that's when we see Slade talking with Hot Dan or Sebastian Blood, and and he's like, hey, what you, and Slade says, he says, hey, do you want me to do anything? And Slade's like, nah, I'll do it myself to end this episode. So, yeah, I know I used the B word a lot in this review, but I just gotta say it, Moira, she really lost some credibility points of me. And Laurel already lost credibility points of me before this episode even began. Because Laurel's drinking problem and her refusing to get anyone's help with it, and then blaming Sara for everything that's gone wrong in their family is just terrible. And also Sara and Oliver got together, slept together at the end of the episode. Yeah, I guess all of Sara. I guess Ollie Sara is back on because they got back together because Sara has nowhere place to go. Laurel dislikes her. Oliver is the only person that she has left now. And she has her family, but obviously Laurel won't let her. But anyway, that was it for this episode, and I'll see you next time for some more Arrow. Pew.